Let's play the 12 matches, including 2 rematches at Challenger level in the qualifying round of the Grass Open in Tennis Clash, a sports game published by Wider Life Studios. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 if you like this video. So this qualifying round takes place between 6th and 8th of August 2020. The entry fee is 2 million coins for the Challenger level. Is the lineup that I'm going to use most of the time in matches. I will test this counter puncher style and the high serve two equally strong hand style with Leo in some matches to see if it can be played on grass. So this is the lineup that I'm going to use whenever I play with Leo. So each match entry fees is 200,000 coins. The winner takes it all. It's like in Tour 7. Alright, so this tournament introduces a new court surface, the grass, and according to the publisher, the grass court should decrease bounciness, so balls will bounce lower and travel farther. In theory, that will give to volleyers an advantage, and that's realistic because in real life tennis you play volley on grass court, right? And that means as well that normally cross-court shots should be more dangerous, as it should be more difficult for players to catch those balls. Alright, so this is my first match ever on grass. My opponent has already started playing, so he knows a bit how the balls travel. So that was a bit surprising that the publisher didn't introduce this new court surface in a practice section or in a test tour so that players could get used to it before playing the tournament. Anyway, what I could say is that the texture of the grass doesn't seem very realistic, visually speaking. Well, it could be worse, of course, but it can definitely be better, or at least I think that in high settings of graphics it should be better. I play with high settings. And the texture becomes even quite gross whenever there is a zoom on the court, during Hawkeye's challenges, for instance. But apart from that small visual disappointment, well, I would say that playing on this new grass court surface isn't that different from the hard court. It's not really different. And so the hard court is the one that we play on in all tours since the beginning of the game. And the feeling, well, I would say the first impressions is that balls go indeed a bit farther. But that doesn't produce much an impact for players, where they still can catch balls correctly, where the balls does bounce a bit less. So what I thought was verified, the cross-court shots are harder to catch and return. So I didn't try to hit so many cross-court shots during matches, as you are going to see. I hit them mostly in matches versus players who choose to play with a lot of stamina and a weak hand. You're going to see that in next matches. Oh my gosh, yep. My opponent knew how I was going to hit that. He knew that I was going to hit the cross-court shot. I shouldn't have. Yep. I shouldn't have hit the other side, and that's an error that I had tried to avoid making during the next matches. Okay, well, we start with a defeat. It's not a big problem. Let's try with the high serve. Two equally strong hands versus Fabio 13, who is surprisingly playing with a baseliner lineup. I have always seen this player use the volley style, not with a lot of success actually. In Tour 7, I have faced him very often playing volley, and well, let's say that I don't have a bad win ratio versus him at all. Okay, so I didn't try. Yeah, I was saying that I didn't try to hit so many cross-court shots during the matches. of this qualifying round. I hit them mostly in the matches versus, yeah, as I said, players who chose to have a lot of stamina and a weak hand. And in other matches, I decided to play rather security to get points. So it's the qualifying round, so let's try not to mess up too much. It's not. Let's try not to test. And I think that I will test the cross-court shots much more often during the tournament round, where I can test things without pressure. Okay. And as you can see, the tournament seems to become weekly. And that's a bit too bad, I think, because the publisher has not put the Bullseye Challenge back during the days where players don't have tournaments. Well, it's a pity, I think, because a lot of players like to play this challenge that often rewards useful cards. So I don't need a lot of cards anymore. I have already finished upgrading almost all the cards that I needed. But I think that for a lot of players who still are in the process of upgrading cards, well, the Bullseye Challenge was interesting. Okay, so here is an example of lineup having a lot of stamina, high agility, and a very weak hand, the forehand. And this opponent is playing with a new string introduced for this tournament, the grass fiber. So this grass fiber has a quick catch and critical tier 3. It may be useful versus volleyers, because well, versus volleyers you need critical to hit powerful passing shots. But the problem is that this string doesn't have any stamina shield, and when you know the importance of stamina shield, after the gameplay recalibration patch released on 29th of July 2020, well, I can just say that it's a pity. It's a bit like the Toro Twine, except that the Toronto Twine has a critical tier 2. And this one has a critical tier 3, so it's the max critical you can have. As you can see, the cross-court shots can work very well. Here again, well, because I needed to take risk hitting a lot of those cross-court shots in that match, because obviously, as you can see, my stamina level was going dangerously low by the end of this match. So, but what I can say is that this lineup, the lineup used by my opponent, is not very. I don't think that's very efficient. So he's using Kato. Hold on, let's take a look. Yep, he's using the Zeus to have agility, the Forge, Anvil, and Kato sourcing. Yep, and this grass fiber. This Kato sourcing card is giving a lot of stamina, but well, unlike the carbo load or antioxidants or increased hydration, it doesn't give any forehand points, so you end up playing with a very weak forehand. Valeron, well, this opponent beat me up quite easily during the previous tournament. Let's see. Well, I was playing with Kaito the last time I met him. This time I'm playing with a high serve, so should be a bit easier to score points with the serve. Okay, yep. I know that he knows me. I know that he was going to anticipate for my cross-court shot, so I was hitting down the line instead. You know, you can't keep hitting with the same pattern all the time because it's too easy to read. Because yeah, you have just seen the texture when the Hawkeyes was zooming on, and well, as you can see, that's a bit disappointing. That's not very. It doesn't look very grass to me. That looked like the floor of a well of a water closet room. That was very nice hit, very nicely hit by my opponent. And he equalized with a big serve. Yep. Guess I start to know the hitting pattern of this opponent, but yeah, he was still anticipating the other side, and I was still hitting differently. Yep, it was too bad here, really. I couldn't have ended the match there. If it was in, I tried to hit the cross court here. It didn't go in. Fortunately, yep, my opponent has a tendency to move a bit everywhere before I serve. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work at all. It doesn't help much to focus to catch the serve, but I think that he had decided decided anyway that he's not going to try and catch this serve, so don't know much why he's doing those moves. Well, a sub told me that a lot of those players, the high serve players who do that, know what they're doing, and they seem to move a bit randomly, but it's Exco who was explaining me that. Exco plays with a high serve now and then, so he knows. And that's what Ramses 101, another good high serve player, was doing against me in another tournament. Well, I was lucky to hit that drop shot return there, because that match was going to last forever. And that's a bit the same thing between two high serve players. You know, by the end of the matches, when the stamina bar is depleted, and for both players, you just need to hold the serve and keep winning points. The match can last really long. Okay, let's keep on playing. Well, some subs were okay. Fozzy is not playing with the high serve here, but with the a lineup that we have seen another opponent use previously, Schumacher. Except that this time he's playing with the Toro Twine instead of the grass fiber. So it's basically the same string, except that critical Chia is 2 for this Toro Twine, and it was at critical Chia 3. Yeah, he kind of anticipated that I was not going to hit on the cross-court shots. He was anticipating correctly. So yeah, I have faced him several times through 7, so we start to know each other a bit now. We almost know quite easily when we can feel actually when the opponent is going to hit the cross-court shot, especially him, Fozzy, because well, actually Fozzy hit cross-court shots now and then too, but yeah, okay, he anticipated it bad way there. Yeah, so the ball does travel farther. This on the serve, for instance. Let's try to come back with some serve. Wow, he didn't even move there. Stamina is going down, so it helps a bit to hit an ace. Oh my gosh. That point, that lost point is going to cost me the match. It's too bad. Too bad because, well, my opponent is obviously not going to have any problem of stamina by the end of the match. As for me, well, I have no more time now. I have to take risk hitting the returns, otherwise I'm going to be destroyed by the lack of stamina by the end of the match, and well, that's very probably going to happen. Yep, he just needs to do that kind of shot to make me drain my stamina a lot. Yeah, I was going a bit into the backcourt. Yep, very nice shot there. Fuzzy has really a good finesse in the hand. Oh my gosh, he didn't move to the other side. He almost was going to move, thinking that I was going to hit the cross-court shot, but finally I hit the other side, and well, I should have hit the cross-court shot. I will remember to do that. Obviously, because he anticipates me not to hit the cross-court shot, I'm going to hit it next time. Okay, so for the, I'm showing you the lineup. It's almost the same thing than for Schumacher. The first opponent using this same kind of lineup, as I said. So point guard is another opponent who gave me a hard time during the previous tournament. So as you can see, I'm not playing with. I was trying to see if on this new court I can just use the Maestro Monte instead of the Bastard string. And apparently, well, not too many players are using with the Bastard string on the hardball court anyway. Looks like they're going to save. I want to save them for the 2-8 matches. Actually, I still have a little stock of Bastard string, but well, need to save them for the 2-8 matches, where I need the critical and forehand counter, where to better neutralize the other overpowered Kaito. Like the one of Seoul, a top 20 players who plays a lot there in 2-8. Alright. Well, looks like it's better this time than during the last tournament. Anyway, it can't really count because during the previous tournament round, well, I was playing. It's the same with a Fever, so well, it doesn't. I can't really compare actually. Okay. Yeah. Obviously, I'm a bit more focused now that my fever is gone, totally gone, and this time, believe me, I haven't gone out before the qualifying round starts, and I will avoid doing that before the tournament round starts too. And I have plenty of reasons to do that. First, well, um, there has just been the heaviest rain ever since the beginning of the year in the city where I live, the big city. So, yep, a lot of streets are flooded, and well, you can imagine what it is for in Asia. So a lot of motorbikes and cars have a damaged engine now due to the water entering the engine. They are totally flooded. It's really too bad for them. And there's another thing. So the coronavirus is coming back in the country where I live after 3 months of no cases of inactivity. So there was no case at all during 3 months. That was very well controlled. And then now the second wave is coming. It's coming. We thought that we couldn't avoid it, but it's not the case. So, yep. We are invited now to stay at home, to not go out, to wear, of course, have masks whenever we can. So as you can see here, cross-court shots work like charm, and that's always the case versus lineups that have this weekend. One weekend. Here is a 1 week backhand. Is that 1 week forehand? All right. Okay, so this Victoria was I had met him before, and this opponent is playing very well. He has a big forehand, two equally strong hands here, but it's not too unbalanced. Yep, I have a kind of hard time. Wow. Was a funny point here. I have a hard time returning correctly. His strong serves. 220 kilometers per hour. Too bad I didn't play with Leo here. But well, I haven't met a lot of high serve players, so when I play with Kaito, so well, it's not too bad overall. And if I play correctly, well, wow, he was hitting really accurately all his forehands. Very nice, really very nice, on the lines all the time. So of course I'm going to try to come back, but you know, it's a bit too late now. This is a high serve, that's very tricky. High serve player. So of course you know that you have the advantage of stamina by the end of the match, but you know as well that you have the the disadvantage of receiving a big serve. So if that point was in, well, I think that I could have tried to come back and equalize, because he was starting to have a low stamina there. Let's take a look at the lineup. Yep, this is the same thing than my lineup, except that is with Victoria. He plays very well, really high serve, two equally strong hands. Alright, let's just play with Leo for a change. Let's see how. So obviously I don't serve as well as powerfully as the previous opponent, the previous player. So I rely mostly on my ground strokes to score points behind. Yeah, as you can see, only 194 kilometers per hour. Not good. Okay, I anticipated in a bad spot there. So some subs asked me to give my impressions on how to swipe, how to position, etc. I would say that you shouldn't try and change the way you position your character for that surface. You should just position it the same way than you were playing on a hard court surface. Okay, and I would also say that you don't need to change the way you swipe. It's basically the same thing. Really, it doesn't change a lot. It's just that the ball travels farther, but you still can catch it and return it almost exactly the same way than beforehand. It's just that visually, the cue that the visual indication that follows the ball is a bit different. So it shows that the ball goes farther, and that's it. Would not say that. Yep, cross shots work well here. So yeah, I missed that. I missed that shot that I must put in. Too bad. Too bad. If I put that in, couldn't have that couldn't have been another match. Well, my bad. That is not good. So yeah, to specify, I didn't change the way of swiping. I didn't shorten, or I didn't make my swipe go be longer. No, it's still the same. You don't need to hit much differently, actually. So I serve the same way. So yeah, as bad as before. Um, I hit the same way actually. Don't change much. I really don't change much. It's just that I'm quite glad that the cross-court shots are more effective now. Their efficiency has increased a lot, and I love that because, well, you all know that I use them a lot. So yeah, I I think that I will use them much more often during the tournament round. Nice serve. Nice serve card. Okay, let's try. Wow. Alright. Let's try to hit that. Yep. So I was doing a block return. It's a kind of block swipe, so you don't swipe much. You swipe very short. You make a very short gesture. Okay, and well, what you do is you take advantage of the power of your opponent to make the ball fall back quite close to the net. A bit like here. Yep, it was a block return. So if you play tennis, real life tennis, you will know that a block return is a kind of defensive shot with very a very little backswing and shorten action. Okay, instead of a full swing. So you don't hit the full swing. Well, let's make a rematch, and that will be a massacre because, well, this opponent has a lot of agility, more stamina. The Sivan Wire, well, is enough with his stamina to use it. It has a forehand counter, critical, long catch. That's enough. That's much enough for him to neutralize my serve and my shots. Okay. Massacre, I told you. So let's talk about the block return. That's more interesting. So usually you can, in real life tennis, I mean, you do a block return where I hit the block returns when I have to return a serve, a powerful serve. So yep, I use a little backswing, really. So in the game it's a bit same thing. You don't make a long swipe. Make a very short swipe to make a block return. Okay, well, let's do another rematch. That one was awful. Sorab, a top 20 players, 3,800 trophies, who is normally playing with volley into 8 a lot. I never see him in 2-7. But in tournaments, at challenger level, at least since some tournaments that I have faced him, he's always playing with the baseliner. Well, looks like that. Looks like he has seen that the volley style is not as effective once it's capped at level 9 as when it's not capped actually into 8, because into 8 there's no capping. Just remind you that. So some top volleyers like Professor X. Well, I don't know for Professor X because I haven't faced him in tournament, but at least Noam, Professor X, and I don't know, but Noam and Core Blue and Core Red, where they keep playing with a volley in tournament. For Noam, I don't think that the choice is hard because he's so good playing with volley, so that the choice is very quick. I think that he's playing the volley much more efficiently than with the baseliner. So okay, well, looks like I shouldn't have put the Bastille string on. I kind of I thought that he was going to use the Bastille string, honestly, before the match, because I had faced him as plenty of times during the Tokyo Open BIS tournament round, and he was always playing with Bastille string. I think that I played him 4 times or 5 times, and yep, I was thinking that he was going to take the Bastille string too, but well, Mastermind is not too bad, especially if you can. Wow, it was a really nice drop return there. Especially when you can hit cross-court shots, and you can anticipate a bit. You can read the hitting pattern. Where the hitting pattern of Sorab is not too tricky to read. But the thing is to you need to neutralize his critical shot. And okay, now and then he changes a bit when he feels that I have read his hitting pattern. Now we arrive at which should normally be the end of the match. But it's going to, I have to warn you, it's going to be long. It's still going to be long very simply because both players have very few stamina left. So it's very easy to hit winners, as you know. And that is going to be long very simply because we are Sorab and me, we are not too inaccurate while hitting, so we don't make a lot of unforced errors. So that means that whenever we hit a minimum correctly, that's a winner, like this one. We don't even need to put that in an extreme corner. So now and then, well, we can catch and return, but behind is useless because it's a weak return anyway. But obviously what you can see is that I have much more chance when I play with Kaito versus Sorab than when I play with Leo. I had met him a lot of times with Leo while playing with the high serve, two equally strong hands during the Tokyo Open Beast tournament round. And well, obviously now I can put him in a more difficult position when playing with Kaito. So we both had our match points. We both outflank, we both wrong foot each other. We both make now and then, very rarely, unforced errors. I say very rarely because Sorab normally doesn't miss this kind of shot. Yeah, he has this very nice down the line shot. That's very typical of him. Yep, as you can see, plenty of winners and a very long match. You just need to focus a bit and try not to make unforced errors. Too bad I didn't succeed in killing the match there. It was a good occasion. You have the critical, obviously helps a lot to force the opponent to kind of give up totally, because he arrives on the ball too late to return it, or when he returns it, it's very with a great difficulty. Really, I feel I feel a bit sorry for you to see this kind of boring end of match where there are only winners. But well. And finally I made that error, or rather, no, not me. It's Sorab who was reading, who was anticipating, who was betting on the fact that I'm going to hit there. So it was very well played from him. Really, very well played, Sorab. Well, he's not a top 20 players global for nothing, you know. Yep. Nice job, Sorab. Okay, let's take a look at the lineups used by the other players, well ranked. So except for this player who is using the the Victoria and high serve, there are a lot of counter punches. As you can see, a lot of counter punches. Well, we are going to see now Yeah, the high serve players are not very well ranked right now. Jonah, really? Okay. Okay. Well, Halep hasn't got fantastic matches yet. All right. Well, that is just for your information. So I placed fourth at the end of my matches with a total score of 64 after 12 matches. Had played 2 rematches. I will play a third rematch if necessary, but I think that 64 should be enough to qualify. We will see that. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoy watching me play the qualifying round of the Grass Open in Tennis Clash, a sports game published by Wildlife Studios. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 to stay tuned for new videos of Tennis Clash and for the tournament round matches. Thank you a lot for your support. Yep, here's my scorecard. And see you soon on Gameplay 365. Bye bye.